Hey guys, doing a small video here for a conversion I'm doing to my V4. I got a track day coming up. So gonna take my two-seater, which right now I have a main and passenger seat. We're gonna take the passenger seat off along with the rear fairing and make this a monoposto. Helps a little bit with the track, not a whole lot. You're not losing a ton of weight, but it's more for, I wanna do some mounting of like GoPros and things on my rear seat, which I can't do on the current seat. So went ahead and bought a rear mono seat. Now you can spend a couple $100 and buy these at some of the US outlets. I just went on AliExpress. You can get them used for 50, 60 bucks. It's for the track. I don't really care that it's not perfect. It's still pretty good though. Now that I have it, I would say it's probably as good, maybe a little less than what you get for 3-4 times the money in the US. Again, it's for the track, so I'm not really too worried about perfection on this. So we'll go ahead and get started. It's a pretty simple project. It's probably gonna take about 10 minutes. It's about 4 bolts, plus you have the center seat replacement. No bolts for this, it just snaps right in. So we'll go ahead and get started. Okay, on the V4S, the first thing you gotta do is take off the rear seat. The way you do that is you're gonna have a little spot here for your key, AKA glove compartment, which is non-existent. We're gonna turn this, and we should hear the front pop a little bit, but I'm gonna set the camera down here real quick, and we'll go ahead and get that seat off. Great. Once the seat's removed, you'll see that I got some small paperwork in there I'm taking out, and we can pretty much leave all this. This is the passenger handle. If you were to have a backseat rider, we'll tuck this in. And what we're gonna do is we're gonna pop on that seat cover. So I'll go ahead and get that in. Okay, we went ahead and we got the rear seat cover in place, but you can't actually fully engage it unless you turn the key again, which removes this front latch and lowers it and allows you to slide it back. So I'm gonna have to set the camera down for that. All right, now that we have turned the key and fully pulled back on the seat cover, you'll hear a pretty loud click. And you'll notice it'll no longer scoot forward. Make sure it's in there nice and tight. The next steps are going to be to remove this rear fairing. And the way we're going to do that is we're going to have 4 bolts, 2 on each side. Just grab some Allens and pop those out. We're going to go ahead and use a number 3 Allen and then get these 4 bolts out. Once those 4 bolts are out, we're gonna have 2 more on the top on the inside. So we're gonna have a bolt here and a bolt here to remove. Go ahead and pop those out. All right, now that those top bolts are out, you'll notice that we got the rear fairing off, and we're gonna go ahead and put on our new piece. All right, so I got the new piece on. I had to slide it in, and there's a couple tricks here. These front edges like to catch underneath, so you may have to pop them up as you're sliding on the rear panel here. And the same with the rear. There's going to be 2 little hooks that you got to make sure engage, little slot and groove system back here. It doesn't take a whole lot of work. You'll figure it out pretty easily, but just keep in mind you may have to finesse the front a little bit, and you may have to play with the rear of this a little bit to kind of get it to line up. Once it's done, it slides right in, and you'll see that your 4 bolts line right up. So we'll go ahead and get those bolts put back on. Now I don't tighten these all the way down. What I do is I get them about 3/4 of the way in, and I'm gonna get all 4 bolts in first and make sure it's lined up right, and then I'll snug the bolts down. All right, well now we're fully installed. You'll see it does change the appearance of the bike quite a bit. Personally, I like it. It's pretty good, may keep it on there even when I'm not doing track days, but easy swap if you want to switch it back to have a rear rider. I am gonna go ahead and do another video here to get these rear pegs off. There's no point in having the pegs on anymore if I don't have a rear seat. I will say as a word of advice, when you're doing the bolts for the rear here, I would just say hand tighten, you know, get them snug. You don't want to overdo it because you could crack the plastic. You are actually, you know, mounting plastic, so it isn't like metal components where you over tighten it. You'll crack it here with plastic. But that's it. That's the install. And I'll give you guys some pictures here in a little bit when I get the pegs off. Definitely cleans up the lines on the bike a little bit, gives it a much more aggressive look. I like it. It's a quick, easy upgrade, something you can all do.